All right, everybody, welcome in. We are live. Charlie Marlow, there he is, the Herminator, Kenny Wallace. We got a live watch party, Herm, for the final. I look up, of course, and then it goes to commercial break. But we got 38 laps to go at the Clash. It's been super exciting, starting with the last chance qualifier. How you doing, buddy? What have you thought of the race so far?
Man, I'm doing really good. Down here at Brother Rusty's house, down here in Ormond Beach, Florida. And I mean, we've been waiting for years to watch NASCAR do something that the fans like. And right now, I mean, we're looking at, hold on, I know we cannot do play-by-play. Ryan Blaney starts dead last. And he is all over Chase Elliott for the lead right now. And as I say, but this time it's real. Crowd on feet. Oh, I mean, to tell you what, this is one hell of a race, Charlie. I'm jacked up on Sundrop. I got goosebumps right now. I just don't see anything wrong with this. Respond right here, everybody. For the first time in ages, I don't see any complaining on social media. And the crowd is on their feet. Because Chase Elliott's all over Noah Grax in this lap car. Blaney's popping him in the butt. And it's cold there. Everybody, it's cold. Oh, Blaney all over him, popping him again. But it's cold there, Charlie. Can you believe that they pulled this off? You got to have a little luck. What is it, February 1st, February 2nd, 3rd? And they're racing in Winston-Salem, North Carolina at one of the oldest NASCAR tracks in history, and and they're racing good. It's good racing.
So storylines from this one, you had Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott led the first 97 laps. Denny Hamlin and Tyler Reddick both passed him right before they have that halftime break. There's the Sunoco coffee with Kenny mug. We love to see that. And then, as you said, Ryan Blaney, he got the provisional. So he was in the last chance qualifier, but really just to get a few laps in, then he goes off the track. He was going to be in no matter what. And then you had Kyle Larson win that. Josh Berry also advances here to the show. But so far, Ryan Blaney is the story. From dead last, 23rd, and now he's in second behind Chase Elliott.
And, Blaney comes from a rich racing family. Grandfather Lou Blaney, dad, Dave Blaney, World of Outlaws sprint car racer. But what amazes me is Ryan Blaney says, I've never run dirt in my life. And I remember the very first race that Ryan Blaney ran. It was an Xfinity race, and it was at Richmond, and I was in the pit area. I was not racing anymore. And Charlie, Ryan Blaney is a natural. He's got a God-given talent. I think Blaney falls underneath that deal like Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Chase Elliott, where you watch your dad race so long that it becomes you. And I do think it's in the genes a lot. But, I mean, and I'll go even further, Charlie, right now. You're looking at, look, 24 laps to go, and we're looking at two sons of two great drivers. Bill Elliott's son, Chase Elliott's leading, and Dave Blaney's boy. It looks like Blaney's fading a little bit right now, Charlie, but still a hell of a race. They're coming up on lap traffic, 23 to go. It's not over.
And this is at, obviously, the Madhouse, Bowman Gray Stadium. So when I started to do some research on Bowman Gray, I was surprised that the Cup Series hadn't raced there since 1971. I mean, that's a long freaking time. So that's pretty cool with all the history of this track. What else do you think NASCAR could do with this track? I mean, you could probably have an all-star race. You could never have a points race here, right? Just because it's too small, right?
Well, yes. And here's why. As soon as, and I hear all you fans right now as we watch Bubba Wallace holding off Logano. And listen, I just want to, I'm going to answer your question, but as we watch, okay, he got underneath of him. Logano is underneath Bubba Wallace. This is true racing right here. You just can't knock the hell out of them. So you pop them a little bit, you move them up, you get underneath. Right now, Kyle Larson struggling. Kyle Larson going down a lap. Okay. I know that's all you'll let me say. 19 to go. Okay. Let me get back to what you just said. The reason we cannot run a regular points race here in modern era, now back in the day they did it. In modern era, we're only starting 24 cars. Mm-hmm. So it's a deal where you cannot run. Now, you can't put 40 cars on the track. Now, right now. Okay. So respond right here, everybody. However, I could see something like qualifying and you run 2 races, and you go 20 cars and 20 cars. I see for NASCAR's doing things outside the box. It could be points. You could do a format. You could go, okay, all 40 cars show up and you go 20 cars in this race, 20 cars in this race. And you're awarded points as you go up the ladder. I could see that happening, Charlie. I think NASCAR's got to take a good look at this because this is the first big psychological win for NASCAR in years. What I mean is nobody's complaining. And I know I'm repeating myself, but crowd on feet. They won't sit down. They're all cold, but they're warm. And, Chase Elliott now lapping Kyle Busch for like the 3rd time. But, yeah, Charlie, I mean, they can't run a points race under the current rules, but they could go, hey, next year, this is turning out so good. Now, and it only seats 17,000 people. That's another thing I want to add, Charlie. Smallest crowd in modern history, modern day. So, it's like, wow. Blaney gets loose, but Kyle Busch plays nice because Kyle Busch down like 3 laps. Kyle Busch trying to let off the gas to let Blaney back in. Good job by the 2-time NASCAR Cup champion. Oh, let me see here. Yeah, Blaney just gets loose all by himself. Blaney's car's fading, Charlie. 9 to go, and it looks like the 9 car is walking away. But this has been one hell of a race. So many things to say, right, Charlie? You're asking all the right questions, and I'm sure you're watching it. Everybody respond right here. We'll stay going. But there's so much good about this. I think it's exceeded everybody's expectations. Mm-hmm. Tomorrow we'll do Herman Schrader. I just left Kenny Schrader out at the Volusia Speedway. He'll be out there on his computer. I'll be here on my computer. You'll be producing the Herman Schrader show. We'll hear what Kenny Schrader's got to say. Of course, we tape Herman Schrader on Monday. It airs on Wednesday? Mm-hmm. But this is going to be the talk, Charlie. And the reason it's going to be the talk is because of everything we said. It's the first thing NASCAR has done that is unanimously a winner. They've won the hearts of all race fans locally. Only 17,000 people there, but Charlie, looks like there's 100,000 people.
Yeah, and it seems like the Madhouse is known for that, for the fights right in the pits, because it's such a small track. Everybody's beating and banging and all that. And then you keep hearing stories. You probably saw this on social media of it seems like it's kind of one of the things that the fans like to flip off. They like to flip the bird at the drivers they don't like. That seems like it's a tradition there.
Yeah. I want to say this, Charlie. All the lap cars know there's only 2 laps to go. They're all moving out of the way. Daniel Suarez moves out of the way. 1 lap to go, white flag in the air. Lap cars don't want, Daniel Suarez out of the way now. We're coming to the checkered, down the back straightaway, Charlie. I don't think we'll get in trouble. We aren't really calling this race, but there it is. Chase Elliott is your winner, everybody. Charlie, bring it home.
There you go. Chase Elliott in that white Napa 9 car, which is kind of sharp. At the beginning of that race, you had all the you had the white cars. You had Chase Elliott, you had Denny Hamlin, and that Tyler Reddick unbannable Nike car, which had a cool paint scheme. But yeah, the 2025 Clash winner is Chase Elliott, the fan favorite, the 7-time most popular driver, wins. It looks like the fans at the Madhouse are very happy about that, Herm.
Well, and this is a big, what we call a Southern win. You know, you're an Ohio guy. We're Midwest people. So the siren's going to go off in Dawsonville, Georgia. You know, this is in Winston-Salem, North Carolina is where this is. This is Winston-Salem. This is a football field. And years ago, they put a racetrack around it. Now, listen, Charlie, this has been done years ago. You know, Soldiers Field, where Dub Bears play, they race there. But the cars were smaller, they were lesser, and it worked. Now the cars are bigger, faster, more power. But look, they're getting it done. And this is a big win. Let's see, Charlie. Not too bad. 9-14 in St. Louis, Missouri. Yep. I think this was another win. It's only 10-14 here on the East Coast. You know, it's 10-14. You go to the movie theaters, you watch a 7:15 movie. You know, this is about what time you're going to get out. 7:15, 8:15. You know, you're going to get out at 8:45. But still, I think NASCAR, you know, and look, it's 10:15 on, you know, wow, look at this burnout that Chase Elliott's doing. Beautiful burnout. Sideways, literally through the corner, still sideways through the grass. Yeah, I think this is a home. I don't see anything wrong, and I'm trying right now. What is wrong? There's nothing wrong. It's on primetime Fox. They're promoting the Super Bowl. It's a hell of a race. We had a lot of spin outs. We had some good wrecks. Nobody got hurt. No tow trucks. That was big. The crowd stays afterward here, Charlie. Here we go. I got my volume down. There he is, Chase Elliott. He's very happy. Well earned. They come and took care of business, Charlie. They said, quick time. So he earns it by quick time. Wins his heat race, starts on the pole, gives it up. Now, here's what I say. That 100-lap halftime break, I think that helps Chase because they might have made a chassis change. Hamlin, okay. So give us the finish there, Charlie, one more time.
So you got the unofficial results here. Chase Elliott wins. Ryan Blaney, who again started last, started 23rd. He finishes second. This is unofficial, but Denny Hamlin third, Joey Logano fourth, Bubba Wallace fifth, Ross Chastain sixth, Austin Cindric seventh, Tyler Reddick eighth. How about Shane Van Gisbergen? Ninth, and Chris Buescher 10th. And then your 11th spot is Ryan Preece, and he was kind of the show last night, Herm, with spinning out John Hunter Nemechek to advance. How about the fact that we didn't see a ton of that? We saw that last night, and then I guess what? You saw Hocevar in this race tonight, but you didn't really see a ton of wrecks.
Well, here's what I want to say, Charlie. Number one, I'm surprised that Chase Elliott is the only standout at Hendrick. Okay, so Chase Elliott stands out. Kyle Larson was way better, but made the race, won the last chance qualifier. But my point is this. Chase Elliott is the only driver from the Hendrick stable to, you know, really get up there, right? So Kyle Larson doesn't get through the field. He makes his way up there, gets to 14th, and then gets spun out. William Byron doesn't run very well either. So I do want to talk about Preece. That is a new team at, you know, Roush Fenway. So Ryan Preece in the 60. Good run. The other new driver, Chase Briscoe, took over for Martin Truex. He showed up good until he got wrecked out. But I see Penske showed up because Cindric run good. So I'm thinking right now, you know, I'm going to give, as far as the team win, looks like the team win is going to go to Penske because, you know, they showed up there in the top 10. But yeah, whatever they had underneath that Hendrick car of Chase Elliott, I don't know if the message got relayed to William Byron, and maybe it got relayed to Kyle Larson, but, Kyle just couldn't get through the field. And as we watched the race, Blaney cleanly got by Kyle Larson, starting last. And that's another thing, Charlie. Is the track too small? Well, it can't be too small because the guy that started last finished second, and there's not a mark on his car. As we're looking right now, just donut marks, very little donut marks. The 9 don't look like there's hell. The 9 did more damage just now spinning through the grass. Not a mark on the 9. Not a mark on the 9. Not a mark on the second place car. So once again, Charlie, we cover all the bases again. So respond right here, everybody. But still don't see nothing wrong. Don't see anything wrong. We're trying.
Do you think with Kyle Larson, so he's in the last chance qualifier and he wins it, but his car was pretty banged up. I mean, it was all taped up. You think that played a part in the fact that he already ran 75 laps and they were trying to just get that thing to the end?
Yeah, definitely did not help. And I think that was an advantage because, Blaney gets in on points, right? Now, as you listen to the broadcast, Blaney had problems yesterday, didn't handle good, and the car was smoking. Jamie Little reported that this morning, the Penske team, took Blaney's car apart, found a hole, and I believe the oil cooler, changed all the oil cooler, did all that. But one thing Blaney did, he didn't let his pride get in the way. He ran 5 laps in the last chance qualifier. That last chance qualifier was 75 laps. So basically, Blaney goes out there, knows he's got the provisional. This is in the last chance qualifier. Runs 5 laps, gets a little heat in the brakes, pulls off. So, yes, his car was fresh. This is where Kyle Larson had to basically destroy his car. You had 2 cars move on, Charlie. You had Josh Berry, which was a good field because this is the home pretty much of the Woods. They're in Western Virginia. And, so that's right close. But when Josh Berry and Kyle Larson rolled off the track from the last chance qualifier, it already looked like their car had been to a demolition derby. Hey, and by the way, I am tired, Charlie, and I do got coffee in here. It doesn't hurt that our new sponsor, Sunoco, I put that decal on there, I think yesterday morning. But yeah,
looks good. I'll let you take a drink there. What have you thought so far? I watched a bunch of the press conferences from the media availabilities yesterday, and no big shocker. Denny Hamlin's always providing content. Yeah. So the 2 big storylines that I saw, and these were being talked about as well, was so Bob Pockrass asks him about the fact that his hauler doesn't have a lot of sponsors on it. Yeah. And Denny Hamlin talked about how tough it is these days to get a sponsor. And then the other part was, and we put this on our YouTube and on X, Denny is not a fan of the world-class driver exemption, and he said it reeks of desperation. That was his quote.
Yeah, I have a strong opinion on both things. Number one, we try very hard to lay off of politics, but when we went to high school, they taught us current affairs. The current affair in America is we have high inflation. People are doing the best they can. There's not extra money out there. So until companies feel strong, all these teams right now are living off their wealthy car owners. Let me be very clear. Michael Jordan is making $44 million a year off tennis shoes. Any struggling having to do, now I'm just, that's not with Denny's team, but I'm saying over here with the 23 team, I see we got some questions coming up. Let me finish this right here.
No, yeah, go ahead.
When you look at somebody like the 23-11 team, they got some big money from their car owner to field this deal. Okay. Michael Jordan, personally is knocking down $44 million a year himself, lives on a yacht, got it going on. Okay. Now, when you go to Joe Gibbs, now I'm going to answer your question. let me go back just a little bit. A lot of these teams that are struggling for sponsorships, their car owners are some of the wealthiest people in the world and in America. Roger Penske, wealthiest man and one of the wealthiest men, So, but when you get to Joe Gibbs, I don't know if Joe's got a partner. And, but that's not for Denny Hamlin to worry about. As you can tell tonight, Denny Hamlin showed up. One thing that, and I want to stop and comment. NASCAR's really making things right. This trophy that's being awarded tonight is the Bobby Allison Memorial Trophy. Bobby Allison passed away, a hero of the Wallace family. Bobby Allison helped us get to where we're at. But NASCAR neglected Bobby Allison for years. And Mike Helton and Jim France said, look, we got to make this right. We got to give Bobby Allison his 85th win. And that win was at Bowman Gray. So how right NASCAR even gets the trophy right? It's the Bobby Allison Memorial Trophy. And they awarded Bobby his 85th win. And that's a whole nother story. And we talked about it on the Kenny Walsh show, but I want to say that. So let's get back to the question. Denny is struggling for sponsorship right now, not because of Denny. Everybody's struggling for sponsorship. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're getting teams with 8 and 10 sponsors a year. I mean, I don't know how, the money for the fire suits for the, if these teams are going to put new fire suits on these crew members every 10 races, these fire suits are $1,500, $3,000 a pop, times, you're looking at $30,000 in fire suits per race. So, okay, now you're just going to struggle on sponsorship right now because our inflation is so big. Sponsors are looking at where they're going to spend their money, and they want a deal. Mm-hmm. Denny Hamlin, the Joe Gibbs team, they're looking at $20 million a year. Some of these lesser teams are like, our driver, he only makes, some of these drivers are making $250,000 a year. Well, Denny's a $6 million a year guy. So you see what I'm saying? Spire Motorsports, they can use a lot less money because their driver don't ask for no money. You see what I'm saying? So why does it take the top teams so much money to operate? Because they got world-class drivers. As much crap as we want to, or as you all want to talk about Denny Hamlin, he's a difference maker. He did all that talking, and then he went out there and led the race and finished third. He's a gamer. So he deserves that big money. Now, as far as the other question you asked me, Denny said that it is a gimmick. And he didn't say this, but it is a gimmick for NASCAR to allow Elio. That's the way I was taught to say it. Elio. You're saying, and I say, and I see, Denny Hamlin says it is a gimmick NASCAR's doing to bring these world-class drivers. Elio Castroneves automatically locked in. Now, I agree with him. It is a gimmick. That's it. And it's got to be done because NASCAR, it's got to light a wick. They got to light a bottle rocket. They got to do something. And I've always said we don't have any superstar NASCAR drivers. Now, if Chase Elliott can keep this up, that's the only thing that's going to turn NASCAR around. How many times has he won the most popular driver?
7.
Yeah. So see, he's a favorite. And fans are fickle. They're strange. If their driver wins, they love NASCAR. If their driver don't win, they hate NASCAR. It's just that silly. So if we can keep Chase up there, that big fan base is going to love NASCAR. That's just the way it is. It's a joke with me and you. My driver didn't win. I hate NASCAR. So I agree, but listen, people got memory like an elephant. And I said on the Kenny Walsh show, what NASCAR is doing for this, you're automatically in if you're a world-class driver. I got no problems with it because I don't think it's a big deal. It's not like a world-class driver is going to be running every event. And even Denny said that. But once again, Bob Pockrass pokes the bull, right? You mess with the bull, you get the horn. So Bob messes with the bull, Denny gives him the horn. Don't ask a question if you don't like the answer. So I agree with Denny, but my opinion is still the same. It's fine with me. It don't matter. It's fine with me. It don't matter because it's not like a world-class driver is going to show up at every race. So, yeah.
Yeah, I remember you and Schrader talked about this several weeks ago, and he said, look, it's the Daytona 500. That's not really the race that you need this for. And I agree with him. It doesn't bother me at all, by the way, that Elio is in the Daytona 500, but I feel like if you have other races maybe where you don't have as much attention and promotion, and we're talking non-playoff races, maybe when you get through kind of like the dog days of summer, that's where I feel like having a Max Verstappen or somebody like that can kind of bring some more attention, but you don't need any extra attention for the Daytona 500.
No, I agree with that. Getting back to Denny saying it's desperation. Well, call it what you want, okay? But even if you say it's desperation, then okay. Even if NASCAR said, look, we're a little desperate right now, don't make them look bad. You could call it a market. It's Charlie. It's publicity. It's marketing. It's publicity. It's marketing. You can call it anything you want. You can call it a gimmick. Usually those are just attack names. It's a gimmick. It's desperation. Oh, what? Oh, you hurt me. NASCAR's not sitting there. Let's see Chris Blair. See what's Chris saying? Oh, Chris is funny. Chris has been Chris Blair is he's in charge of the Worldwide Technology Raceway. Well, they're trying to do other things over there. They got the road course, they got the drag strip. They're getting ready to have some wrestling over at the Worldwide Technology. So this is Chris Blair.
Oh, nice.
He went somewhere to promote wrestling at Worldwide Technology Raceway, and they hit him in the face with a pie. So that's Chris Blair, who is the general manager at the Worldwide Technology, and they just were awarded, since St. Louis is doing so good. That race, as we know, Charlie, is in September, and it is a playoff race. So shout out to Chris Blair. Let me put it on. Let me see. Chris, period. We're live on YouTube, and I just showed everybody this picture. As you say, promoters do what they got to do.
Yep. Yeah, you mentioned Worldwide Technology in St. Louis having the race in the playoffs, so no longer in early June. Now it's in September. And there's a lot of people in the comments here that really liked the Clash. And I don't know, maybe it's because we're in it right now, but I don't know. I feel like a good positivity about the NASCAR season. And maybe that's because, it's year 4 of the next gen car. I feel like they're figuring that out a little more each and every year. I mean, do you feel that? I know we have this lawsuit hanging over, but I feel like that was more of an off-season story. I don't know how many developments we're going to get during the year. I don't know. I can see a lot of positivity for this 2025 season. What do you think?
Charlie, and I'm not really – most of the fans watching us right now, I want to thank you all so much. But right now, some of the complaints by some of the fans is what we call white noise. You remember, you're young, but there used to be this funny show to come out. There's 2 old men. They were Muppets.
Oh, yeah.
The 2 old men, they're just grouchy all the time, no matter what. And it's kind of like Grinch, right? Grinch is never going to be happy. Well, we got those people in our fan base. They love NASCAR, but their sport, they love to talk crap. And they're like the Muppet. They're like the 2 old men. So these people are starting to be drowned out a little bit. We saw it at the end of the year where there was this group that said, I don't like the playoff system. And then when you broke it down, you're like, hold on. And now you see all the drivers coming out. I don't know if you saw it, but all the drivers coming out in Joey Logano's defense.
Mm-hmm.
What he won Joey Logano won 4 races last year. He peaked in the playoffs. He showed up in the playoffs. This argument that, well, but he didn't run good early in the year. It's like, what do you want me to do? So some of these arguments, it's just like every year, some of the fans want everything changed, and it's becoming white noise. What white noise is like, look, it don't matter. It don't matter. You just still complaining. And and everybody's like, God, and people start knowing people too, because social media is the new place now. So you start going, oh, that's that guy. That guy's always bitching and moaning. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, that's that guy. He always complains. And I think that's what's happening is, for the most part, it's getting to be, that's the guy that always complains. And then he'll light a fire. Then he'll get his buddies to complain.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, listen, and let's face it, we've already admitted it. NASCAR is never, ever going to be back to its glory days. So that's not even an argument. We all admitted that. You're never, ever. Well, we can't fit that many people because they took all the grandstands down, Charlie. So it's like, all they fit, the Daytona 500 one year had 200,000 people, 250,000 people. Well, you're not going to put that many people in there anymore because they took out all the grandstands. It maxes out at 100. So they took out all the grandstands, realizing that the sport, it was a rare time in life, and we'll never see it again. It was like, whoa, it was really big, and now it's not that big anymore. And this is where it's going to be. But it's still a viable sport, and that's why you see NBC, Fox, that's why you see them spending billions. If the sport is so bad, Charlie, you got to ask yourself, why is Fox, why is NBC, Hulu, all these, why are they spending billions of dollars? It's because they see the analytics. Mm-hmm. They see that there's still 4 million people watching a race. I guarantee you this one here, well, we had the Grammys on tonight, so that kind of diluted it. But I can tell you, I left the Volusia Speedway, the dirt track. Every single dirt racer they was outside their motorhomes. It was good feel too. The woods were in the background. You saw Denny Hamlin standing on the grass. Mm-hmm. It had that good short track feel. All the short trackers were happy. All the local racers. Oh, look, it looks local. It looks like a local track. So that probably pretty good ratings. But
yeah, I just think NASCAR and racing in general also does really well on social media, because all the clips, and even if people aren't going to watch the whole race or even half the race, just the clips that are shared on social media. Look at last night, Priest spinning out John Hunter Nemechek. Anytime there's a fight, anytime there's a wreck, those get played millions and millions of times all across social media platforms.
Charlie, did you see what happened? And I'm answering your question. We're talking. Did you see WrestleMania in Indianapolis last night? WrestleMania. Now, I'm going to throw a disclaimer. Those wrestlers are the most fantastic athletes in the world. They are way better than me. I admire them. I look up to them. But it's fake. It's fake. It's a show. And they literally sold out a fake act. It's like going to see a movie. Movies aren't real. When they're real, they call them documentaries. We go and watch movies knowing it's entertainment. So people want to be entertained. And people like to get on social media and see what's up. So my point is that if wrestling can go over here with a staged act and NASCAR is all real, you got to start asking yourself, where are we at in entertainment today? Where are we in entertainment today? You know, and another thing that's going on right now, I hate the NFL. They let the Chiefs win. Then I hate the NBA. They're trying to shorten, the game. I mean, everybody hates everything. You see what I mean about white noise?
Mm-hmm.
It's starting to wear now. Everybody hates everything. It's like, you know what I mean? It's one of those deals. It's like, oh, I get it. Everybody hates everything. It's a comedy. And then WrestleMania's over here with a staged act, sold out. Standing room only, crowd on feet. It's like, it's funny. So we are in an entertainment sport right now, and I'm still answering your question. And I don't want to be political, but the first White House press briefing, she got up there, the new lady, and she says, we recognize that Joe Rogan played a part in Trump winning the election. So here in the White House press room, for the first time in history, we got 2 seats, and there's 10,000 of you out there. And if you are a quality, if you're doing good, and so that tells you how strong social media is right now. And social media is about entertainment. This AI stuff's taking over stuff, Charlie. It's like these goofy stuff on Instagram right now. But the bottom line is NASCAR is doing one hell of a job with TikTok. I know for a fact NASCAR's full effort is on TikTok because all them young kids live on there. I can't do it. You're doing it. I'm exhausted. I'm watching full-blown productions from race. Okay, so from the last chance qualifier, the last chance qualifier to the A main was about an hour and a half, and NASCAR already had full production shorts.
Yeah.
Their editing team was already full production. So that's where we're at. The game has changed, Charlie. It's like coffee with Kenny. They don't make fun of me no more, Charlie. They don't make fun of me anymore because it's all about social media. It's all about it. Why is NASCAR going back to Bowman Gray? We got to change it up because what the NBA used to do, it don't work anymore. What hockey did, it don't work anymore. Everybody's changing. Everybody.
Yeah, and I like most of NASCAR's changes. And I read all the comments here on YouTube, and it does seem like a lot of the old school fans maybe don't love all of the changes. And maybe they're also an older demographic, and that's fine. But, and you spoke to this, but to get the younger people to pay attention, I do think what NASCAR is doing with the playoff, with stage racing, even if some of the traditionalists don't love it, and switching up things with the Clash, the Chicago Street Race, mixing up the tracks, Mexico, I think all of those things help grab the younger fan and the casual fan, which at the end of the day, NASCAR is trying to get back. And you said they'll never get back to whatever it was, 2006, but they're trying to inch their way closer to that. And I think the advancements they're making are all targeting the casual fan. And I like them all. And I would call myself, before we started this YouTube channel, I would call myself a casual NASCAR fan. Now I'm a diehard, but like everything that they're doing, I feel like they're attracting the casual sports fan in a better way than they did before.
Yeah, and I'm the one that are going to put my balls up here right now on the table. And I know what I'm going to say is controversial, but I'm going to call them all out. The fans that are doing all the moaning and complaining are the old people. They're sad, Charlie. Mm-hmm. I go on the Kyle Petty charity ride, and they're wonderful people. They all got money, and they still love racing, but they look at me and they all go, I don't like the sport anymore. They're just bitter. You know what I mean? It's all the old people. And what it is they're just sad that their drivers quit. You know, and the young crowd did not attach themselves to NASCAR. So you're right, Charlie. NASCAR knows that they've lost the old crowd. And it's over. And listen, we've done plenty of specials about this. And I've watched those people take my excerpts and put them all over Facebook. The old crowd is ass hurt. They're pissed. Tony Stewart's gone. Rusty's gone. I don't like NASCAR anymore. Those are the ones that do all the complaining. They're avid complainers. And once again, you know, they probably got 2 or 3 accounts on X and they just love it. It's a sport. They watch every race, but they like to complain. Now, the young kids, you know, we've been watching something change here in the last 5 months, if you know what I mean. And the young kids are starting to change the world. And I think if we can grab them, you know, and that's why it's important for Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney. Listen, we have not had one driver stick yet. The most famous driver we got is Denny Hamlin, because he's the one brave enough to do a little crap talk. Chase is just loved because of his father. You know, he's got a little bit of Huckleberry Finn, and they love that.
Kyle Larson.
Yeah, but Kyle don't move. Kyle's a legend, but Kyle doesn't move the needle like this Chase Elliott does. Listen, I'm a lover, and I'm going to say something that's going to smack people right in the face. If Kyle Larson was so damn famous, he'd be winning the most popular driver every year.
Yeah.
Kyle Larson is loved by all the dirt racing people. And I love Kyle Larson. But you see, I don't fight losing battles. In other words, I'm like, no, you know, I look here. And just because this is my guy, I don't go, here, I'm going to find this quote. I'm not going to waste time finding it, but I'm going to find it. But the point is yes, Kyle Larson is a superstar, but only on a different level. Kyle Larson moves the needle in dirt racing. So if Kyle Larson teams up with Flo, he's going to pack Eldora. Kyle Larson going to beat Eldora. Well, it's going to be standing room only. But once again, if Kyle was so famous, and I mean this nice, if Kyle Larson was that famous, he would win the most popular driver award in NASCAR. See what I'm saying? Kyle Larson is all dirt racer. So that's why we need Kyle. As famous as Kyle is, he still don't move the needle. We need those drivers where they need a bodyguard. Charlie, should we start answering some questions?
Sure. You know, it's funny too. You're talking about just the publicized drivers. I always find it interesting of who NASCAR puts on the graphics, right? So I was watching the Last Chance qualifier, and they had that Daytona 500 preview, and there was 5 drivers kind of in a pyramid, and Joey Logano was at the top because he's the defending champ. But you see, hey, like him or not, you see Bubba Wallace on a lot of those promotions.
Well,
a lot of them. And we know he's not one of the best drivers. He's okay. He's whatever, top 10, top 15, but they do clearly market Bubba Wallace. And he does move the needle because a lot of people don't like him. Some people like him, but he is a lightning rod for the sport.
Okay, I'm going to be very controversial right now. I'm going to show you something that affected me so much that I took a picture of and I put it in my phone. Okay, now here we go. I'm gonna keep it up here for a little bit. I want to talk about this. Let me see. Okay.
Haters are all failures. It's 100% across the board. No one who is truly brilliant at anything is a hater. From Joe Rogan. I agree 100%.
So in other words, Roger Penske does not take time to talk, in other words, people that are Now, see, Trump's the leader, and they egg him on. So he just answers their question. But people that are, people that own companies, they don't hate.
Yep.
See what I mean? That you might get sound bites. But, when you see people on social media that are constantly talking crap, well, they're losers. They're followers. They don't own businesses. You see what I mean? But that is a very, that's a very big deal. Haters are all failures. It's 100% across the board. No one who is truly brilliant at anything is a hater. Winners are always trying to figure out how to make things better. They like me, I'm awesome, right? Because what I just said is, look, yes, Kyle Larson is the greatest driver in the world. But I got to go, hold on. He is the greatest driver in the world. But this kid over here, for some reason, moves the needle. You got to ask yourself, why does Chase Elliott keep winning the most? It's not rigged, people. It's, that's the hater. That's that hater thing I just put up. It's not rigged. Okay. That's that hater loser mentality. You got to ask yourself, why does Chase Elliott keep winning the most popular driver every year? It's simple. If Chase Elliott, if Dale Jr. was still racing, he would be the most popular driver.
He still is, probably.
Yes. They have Dale Jr.'s souvenir trailer at the NASCAR Cup races based on that late model stock that he ran at Florence. The fans that we have, they are Dale Earnhardt Sr. fans, and they are Bill Elliott fans, and they are, sadly, Chase Elliott is our last big hope. You know what I mean? So that's why I always on the Kenny Walsh show say we don't have any superstars. The only one we got is Denny Hamlin, because he pisses everybody off so much that they come back. They come back. Oh, I'm going to answer you, But he's like an old Darrell Waltrip. Denny runs that mouth, but then he shows up and leads the race and runs third. That's competition. You're not going to win them all. That's competition.
I feel like Kyle Busch, if Kyle Busch was running up front, he could get back into that category, because obviously he likes to stir it up as well, and he can play the villain role, even though that's switched a little bit the last 2-3 years and some people are liking him. But I feel like there's another guy that people always say that whatever it is in football, the sport is better when Notre Dame's good. The sport is better when Florida State's good, whatever school you want to pick, kind of the blue bloods. I feel like NASCAR is always better when Kyle Busch is competing to win races, which he hasn't really done in the last year or so.
Well, I will go down this road with you, but I'm going to go down it in a competitive manner. Kyle Busch wanted to keep making big money.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe Gibbs says, I can't pay you that, but I can pay you a little less. And the little less is still like millions. And, so Kyle Busch, believing in his talent, Kyle knowing he's one of the best drivers, he says, I'll go over here to Richard Childress. And if you remember right away, he won at Fontana. And it's like, oh, damn. And Kyle Busch is a game changer. But now they come out with this new next-gen car, and it's all based on – this new next-gen car is all based on engineers. So Kyle cannot make that up. So as great as Kyle Busch is, in a weird way, he's with the wrong team now. You see what I'm saying? He's with the wrong team now. Now, I think I'm not going to put words in Kyle's mouth, but I know for a fact, that Kyle Busch is worth as much money as Denny Hamlin. But, I know Joe Gibbs offered him as much as he could. and it just didn't work out. So I think there again, Kyle Busch could be our superstar. He could be joining Denny Hamlin right now with the very big sound bites, but his car's not running fast enough. And that's all because Kyle's like, damn it, Joe, give me some money. And it became a pissing match. So it's sad that Kyle's not on a good horse right now. If you noticed, Austin Dillon didn't run good tonight. Neither did Kyle. But Austin was in transfer spot in that last chance race. And they started beating the hell out of each other. It became desperate. And yeah, getting back to superstars, tonight couldn't have been any better. We had our most famous driver win, and that's big. Listen, the headline of the night is NASCAR's off to its best start in 20 years. NASCAR, I think I should put that on X right now. Let me see.
Now, specifically, why do you think that? Is it because of the Clash and it was so successful, or other things as well?
The reason I say that is because when we had the Clash at Daytona, nobody was in the grandstands and everybody hated NASCAR. Then they went to the LA Coliseum and it was considered not NASCAR country. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They drink wine and eat cheese out there. They're not one of us. That's not country. You ought to bring it to Bowman Gray. Third time's a charm. This was all Ben Kennedy's idea. I saw Ben in the Daytona airport. I landed here, and me and Ben had a nice talk, and he was leaving early. But the reason I think this is NASCAR's best start in 30 years is because Daytona faded because track's too big. And then they'd wreck so much. They didn't wreck tonight. They just spun out. They spun out and kept going. They didn't tow nobody off tonight. They did not tow anybody off the track tonight. Now, there might have been a car that pulled off, Chase Briscoe, and probably broke something. But, Daytona, there's nobody in the grandstands, and they're wrecking. And it's like, Jesus, finish this damn race. So the crowd got so bad for the Clash at Daytona, they said, we're done. No different than them getting rid of Kentucky. They got rid of Kentucky Speedway because it was done. They clearly never overcame the debacle. Charlie, you're young, but when they first went to Kentucky, they opened up the racetrack a year too early, and they didn't have enough parking. The race was halfway over, and fans were still parking, stuck on the highway. Never got over it. So they literally had to get rid of Kentucky, never overcame that. The Chicago track, they had to shut it down. And eventually, the price of land won in California. They had to shut Fontana down. Guess who's still living? The oldest track. Martinsville, Bowman Gray. So you see the pattern here? So it's like they just kept trying. And that's the reason I say that this is the best start for NASCAR in 30 years. Now we got a week off. Let's get the Super Bowl over. We always say NASCAR season starts, we used to have the Super Bowl, then the shootout. This was a great, this is another reason. There I am, I'm talking to myself. This is another reason this is one of the best starts. Let's run the All-Star. Let's run the Clash. Now we know nobody's bigger than the NFL. We can hyperventilate starting tonight. It's all going to be about Super Bowl now. Get the Super Bowl cleared out because that's the biggest sport in America. And now NASCAR starts. But this was a good date too, Charlie, because there was nothing going on. I mean, football's over. Boy, that was really good what I just said, ain't it?
You know what? You're right. I've thought about that. I've always thought that February is kind of the worst month of the year for many reasons. Winter, kind of blah, but also for the sports calendar. Of course, you have the Super Bowl, but besides that, NASCAR can really steal the headlines with the Daytona 500, with the Clash here. I mean, until March Madness hits, there's not a lot going on in the month of February. So NASCAR can really steal a lot of headlines. And I think they did tonight, this weekend. Again, everybody takes the week off for the Super Bowl. Everybody in the world pays attention to the Super Bowl. But then if you have a great Daytona 500, I mean, the momentum just keeps building for NASCAR. I agree with you. I'm very excited for this season. NASCAR is off to its best start in 20 years. I love it. I love it.
Bam. Yeah.
Send it.
I did. I sent it because we just broke it down for all those reasons. Well, now that we just thought about it, boy, NASCAR, they did do a good job at placing this race, didn't they?
Mhm.
Because the playoffs, the Chiefs and the Eagles, that deal finished last week. This week, crickets. Nothing going on. And look at that. They put this thing on prime time. They showed a short track. They showed Denny Hamlin and people watching on a grass hill. They were interviewing drivers, and the woods were right there next to them. And all the people that are local racers are like, that's awesome, man. They're standing on a grass hill. That's like our track. I love it. It just, that's what I mean. It was a perfect storm here. So, yeah. Did we have any people on here tonight?
Oh, yeah. We got 567 watching live right now on YouTube up to this minute. And we've had so far 5,300 people have been watching for this whole live stream. And it's interesting, too, because we had about 500 the whole way through. And even when the race ended, it picked up a little bit. But sometimes it's interesting to see is when people come over after the race ends. But also, there wasn't really a lot of controversy. It was a good race, but it wasn't real spicy. So if there would have been something crazy or a wreck, I think the numbers would have skyrocketed.
You remember when I told you that there's people that make white noise, that they complain all the time?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to call this guy out right now. Here's one of the guys. See that?
Nice. Yep.
Yeah. I don't follow the guy, but he pops up all the time. So just like, that Andrew Kirkland, he's in media. He says, Noah Gragson, would you like to see this a points race?
Mm-hmm.
And Noah's like, heck yeah. And there the guy is again, being a smart ass. Can we just enjoy a gimmicky preseason exhibition race, please? What was gimmicky about it? They've been racing here since 1950. Why was it a gimmick? They race here every week. They run Bowman Gray every week. How can you consider that a gimmick? If you race somewhere every week, how's that a gimmick? And like I just said, if you really wanted to make this a points race, you could by making it a playoff points race. Basically, 24, you run, there's 40 cars. It's very easy to make this a points race. It'd be a 3-day show. You qualify on Friday. You bring in the modifieds. You don't bring in the Busch Series. You keep the home feel. You don't bring in the Xfinity. That's another thing that was good. Did you see that crowd on Saturday morning for the mod race?
Yeah.
The mod, so that's what I mean about the white noise. I want to go back to that guy. Here I am just giving you exact example. Guy just talks crap. So thank you, Jackie. All you do is you come in on Friday, you qualify 40 cars. Saturday morning, you run the mods. You bring in the local crowd. Burt Myers and all them guys, they're happy. And then you run 2 races with 20 cars in this race, 20 cars in that race. Okay? And you get 24 cars. And you start 24 cars in the A main, right? Now, the guys that were the last ones out, they get 25th place points. As if you were racing real. You know? Right. See, Chris is right. A dude. Yeah. Charlie, let's answer some of these people. I know they're piling up. So read that one.
So Chris Laney says, this is in response to somebody calling it a gimmick. He says, a dude ran from the tail of the field all the way to second on a quarter-mile track. That was a good race, not a gimmick. Talking about Ryan Blaney, who started 23rd and finished second.
Yeah. And I got Rusty's TV sitting here saying dismiss, and like, no. Okay. Because yeah. So I mean, it's actually an insult to the 10,000 people that show up there every week. This is Bowman Gray. They race here every week. Doesn't even make sense to call this a gimmick. Why keep racing at Daytona when there's nobody in the grandstands? Let's put 17,000. Hey, like I said, one of the smallest crowds in NASCAR history, in modern history, only 17,000 people there. But I guarantee you, if they put stands in there, which they should never do, don't make it bigger. Just keep it at 17,000 and make everybody watch it. That's what will make it grow. Because it's better to say sold out than to put, that's the worst thing they could do. Now, and if they want to put in some sweets, that'd be fine, but I wouldn't, 17,000 sold out and big viewership,
And don't you think it looks better on TV? I would rather see a packed 17,000. Look at some of the big tracks, and it looks worse if you have a big track and the grandstands are half empty. And this is going to be a local analogy, but in St. Louis U basketball has Chaffetz Arena, and it is not 20,000 people. It's about 10,000 people, but it's intimate. And when it's filled up, it's really cool. And it looks way better and it feels way better packed at 10,000 than if it was 2/3 full at 15,000, or look at Enterprise Center's 20,000. But like when it's packed, it feels special because it's smaller.
Psychological 101. NASCAR knows this. That's why they got rid of the seats. And that's why they make those seats all those different colors. Because what happens with the human mind is that people at home, they watch the race, and the first thing they do is go, look, there's nobody in the grandstands. So that convinces them that I'm not going. People want to go where things are packed. People want to go where things, it's like a good restaurant. Let's go to that restaurant that I can never get into. But I got to tell you another thing, Charlie. Texas Roadhouse aggravates the hell out of me. I love Texas Roadhouse, but it makes me so mad that you got to get there at 4:45 in the day just to get a seat. It's all because of the damn rolls and butter. We know that. And the peanuts. But you know what I mean? Thank you, Jan.
I love it.
Love you.
I love Texas Roadhouse. Very underrated.
Yeah, but it, like I say, it aggravates me that you can never get in the damn thing. But it keeps people coming back because they know it's that good. Yeah.
Look, here's the line. I think this is from Yogi Berra, who also was from St. Louis. He says, Brian Lekorchik says, nobody goes there anymore. It's too crowded. I believe that's a Yogiism going back in the day. What do you think, Herm? You want to close it down? We're over an hour. We're at 64 minutes. I know you got a big day. We got a big day. We got Herman Schrader tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I'm tired.
What do you think?
Yeah, I'm tired. Right. It's 11 o'clock. Let's leave like this. So I said NASCAR's off to its best start in 20 years. Now, remember I told you about those white noise people?
Mm-hmm.
Here, Jim says that was fun. The other person says, what a race. The bumping and grinding, but still driving those beat-up cars. That short track, awesome. Now, here comes the white noise. Don't worry. They'll shoot themselves in the foot with some controversy in the Daytona 500. Already going negative because that's the way they are. the other one, how will they F it up? If they keep coming back, they're going to have to add more seats. So that was pretty good. That was 70. That was 4 people, only 1 guy negative. So we're making gains, everybody. We're making
there we go.
gains. All right, Charlie. So yeah.
There he is, Chase Elliott, the Bobby Allison Memorial Trophy. Good race, good weekend, good show, good live stream. Herm, appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thanks for all the comments, the questions, the super chats. Thank you to JEGS. You saw the Sunoco Race Fuel coffee mug as well. Kenny will be down there in Ormond Beach, right? All week, racing, podcasting. The guy never sleeps. He never stops working.
I'm like you, Charlie. You work harder than me. All right, Charlie. Well, you just take it away, buddy. I love you. And by the way, everybody, that's the man right there. He's the one that asked me 3 years ago to do all this. And even this live stream was Charlie's idea about a month ago. He said, should we start doing this at the end of a handful of races through the year? So, Charlie, if we both got energy, we'll try this a couple more times. Maybe even the Daytona 500. Maybe some of our races that make sense.
For sure. Or just a post game if there's a big finish, for sure. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Herm.
And we're both home. All right.
There we
Goodbye,
go.
Charlie.
No doubt. All right. See you guys. Thanks a lot. End stream.